Hi, everyone. Welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. Today's date is Sunday, June 12th, 2022. However, it's a little late in the day, so it may be Monday morning before this goes up. Before I get started on my topic tonight, I did the contest, the Plot Against the King. I had that extra copy that I was going to give away. It is going to live with Karen in Fairfield, Iowa. And Karen, I'll get that in the mail later this week. I've still got company, and we're going to be on a 2-day excursion starting tomorrow, but it'll be in the mail this week. Now, I have an apology to anybody I may have offended by offering this only to US subscribers. It's easier to mail things within the borders of my own country. This book involves an election from my country, and it just made sense to have it go that way. I want to reassure you, though, this book was purchased with my own money. It'll be mailed with my own money. And yes, while my channel has been authorized to be monetized, as of right now, I've received $0 from YouTube. I have full confidence that will change, as I'm told, at the end of the month. But right now, I've never received any money from YouTube. So when you're spending your own money, you have some discretion that you don't have when you're spending company money, okay? And so it was my discretion to do it this way. I meant no offense, and lesson learned on my part in the future, because sometimes different countries, as I found when I tried to mail the stones, have different import-export regulations. I'll just simply say the 17th person who can legally receive these from wherever they're at. And we'll let our various countries' postal services decide if it can get to them or not. Okay, that'll take any partisanship out of giveaways, because I want people to enjoy it, okay, if I occasionally do something like that. All right, let's get into our topic tonight. Alt Media reported this week that on June 6th, there were special operations personnel that were being sent to the southern border, the Texas border, because armed insurgents, thousands, tens of thousands, were headed to the border. They had satellite confirmation of this. I was relieved to also read that they are only going to be addressing armed insurgents. So unarmed women and children, while I encourage you to come to my country through the regular legal channels like my grandparents did, but they won't be bothered if they're not, as long as they're not armed. Armed insurgents, though, will be dealt with decisively. And where it got a little interesting to me was 3-letter agency personnel or border personnel who aid and abet armed insurgents are going to be treated as enemy combatants. That means an enemy of our country. And I don't know if that charge is treason or sedition, but the charge is very serious. So in other words, they have a lot to lose if they aid and abet armed insurgents crossing our border. So that's to alt media sources, right? Hang on just a second, because in a few days, Mainstream had something in it about caravans heading north. Let's see. So on the 10th, CNN starts telling us that the Biden administration has launched an unprecedented operation to disrupt human smuggling as a caravan moves north. It has nothing to do with the fact that border personnel or 3-letter agency personnel are going to have their necks on the line if they aid and abet that. Nothing, I'm sure it's just a coincidence, right? 1 second, because then the next day there was a follow-up by the same place, CNN. Okay. And on the 11th, they reported that a caravan of almost 7,000 was successfully stopped at the southern border of Mexico. And credit for that goes to Mexican, the National Institute of Migration in Mexico. So has nothing to do with the northern border and special operations personnel up there, right? Well, let's ask the universe, okay? So my question to the universe tonight is going to be, is there a relationship between the presence of special operations personnel at the northern border of Mexico, and this caravan that's been dispersed at the southern border. And what does the universe want us to know about other migrant caravans heading to my country, to the US border? Okay, let's see what happens. 1 second. Our first card is the Two of Swords. Then we have the Knight of Wands, Ten of Cups, King of Wands, Three of Cups, ooh, the Devil, and the Three of Swords. What an interesting spread. 1 second, we'll talk about those. Well, it's interesting that the Two of Swords shows up again tonight, which is, besides sometimes being a card of patient waiting, it can also indicate that there are some truces in progress, possibly a stalemate. The stalemate involved the military stepping in with the Knight of Wands. Now, the recent past, we have the Ten of Cups. It's not here as a celebration card, but one indicating family and security. And because security of our country is a priority to members of our military alliance and white hats, and God bless you, everyone, it was time to take action. King of Wands is the present situation. There's a lot of thought and wisdom that went into this action to put special operations personnel at the border. It was time to become more overt about military involvement and presence in domestic matters. Okay, looking ahead, Three of Cups, which means we're going to see a reduction, at least in my country, a reduction, hopefully by about 30% of the people coming across the border without going through immigration processes. However, it needs to be very careful because this is not a celebration card. None of this is celebration tonight. It's information. So while we can be happy that the influx may reduce a little bit, and especially turning back people who have really bad intentions towards our country and our citizens, look at this. Our clarification is that the Devil card. So there's some temptations. There's going to be people that are they're still going to try to pay people to look the other way and allow it to happen. There's going to be people that test the resolve of those operations people. And it's going to be some lying. Of course, when you're dealing with government bureaucracies right now, that's par for the course, isn't it? So they need to be careful before they celebrate. Yes, be proud of any inroads and progress you make, but also be very, very careful because not everybody's going to have that situation in the same good patriotic means. So brothers and sisters in uniform, watch each other's back, okay? Take care of one another. And thank you for being in service to our country. Let's see if there's a few more cards that can add some information or light on this situation. There is going to be some loss of life at the border. So yeah, that testing to see if they mean it, some people will. Ultimately though, it's going to be this process of securing our border a little more tightly is going to benefit. And this is just finance. This is This is a family generational type of energy. So we are going to benefit from that. And possibly even people who truly are trying to come to our country and start a better life. Look here, we got the Six of Cups, which is a kind of a happiness card. So I like seeing that. It helps a little bit. And here we go, Ace of Wands. So ultimately, while this situation is troubling, and so often innocent lives are being used in these political pawns, and please let's have this stop sooner rather than later. We are still heading towards a better path for humanity and a better future for our children, for generations to come. So hold the line, guys, hold the line. And remember, fear is a useless emotion, absolutely. And if there's a setback on these paths, and there will be some, setbacks are temporary. It's only failure that's permanent because you choose to let it be. I'll accept a setback, but I won't accept a failure. And neither should you. We deserve better, and we're working for it. And thank you so much for being part of this. That's it for this video. If you liked it, please like, share, subscribe. You're welcome to comment. Thank you so much for joining me. Your time is precious, and I do appreciate that you spent some of it with me. Good night.